This is my 2004 Lexus RX330, and in this video I just want to tell you about my long-term ownership. I have had it for about a year and a half now, almost 2 years, and I feel that is a decent amount of time to establish like a good opinion on the car, what I like, what I don't like. Yes, I haven't had it for 5, 10, 20 years, but I feel that's still a decent amount of time. So go ahead and get right into it. Now, one of the things that I absolutely love is actually the body style. Now, I know a lot of people think like, oh, it does look like an older car and whatnot. And yes, it does look like an older car. But if you compare this to a couple other vehicles of that generation, similar, SUVs, it's pretty timeless. Like, it's held up very well over the years. And I still think it looks really good. Obviously, the headlights are kind of like, the headlights do look a little bit aged, but still compared to a lot of other vehicles, like this car looks really good. And I know the RX330, I believe, ran from, was it 04 to 06 or something like that? And then they had the RX350 come in and ran the same body style for a few more years after that. So this body style did stick around for a good amount of time, and it's something I do really like. Something that I am not like in love with are these clear taillights. Don't know what it is about them. I don't know. I don't hate them enough to change them, but I also don't love them enough, but it is what it is. Now let's talk a couple things interior here. I did put some just Amazon floor mats that I actually really like, but otherwise the interior is probably one of my favorite things about this vehicle. This is probably one of the most comfortable vehicles I've ever been in. The seats are still holding up fairly well. Yes, you can see that they're aged. Yes, you can see that there's some chip-ins, a little bit of tearing and whatnot. Passenger side is held up fairly well as well. And you got some cracking over here. But consider this car is 20 years old, all right? I do just basic leather care and condition like once a year, but this car is still 20 years old. This is probably one of the most comfortable cars I have driven. I've owned 20 plus vehicles, something like that. I'm not too much of a fan of this interior, the center console over here, but I swapped out the factory non-navigation like radio and stereo, and I put a Sony here. This is a Sony AVX 1000 or something like that. I'll leave a link to the most updated one down below, but it has Apple CarPlay, which I really enjoy. And yeah, the climate control is cool. I mean, yeah, it's just pretty basic. There's nothing to go into too much detail about here. These are known for having some cracked dash issues, and that this actually just popped up this past summer. So that's the only like little cracks we have. So I'm gonna look into what to do about these. We'll see. But yeah, other than that, the dash looks really good. In terms of the engine, we have the 3.3 liter V6. I know this thing is legendary to some respect. I just don't know too much about it, so I don't want to speak too much about it. In terms of my opinion of it, yes, it can get up and go. It can do everything you need it to, and it can do it well. Does it do it quickly? No. And that's just something you have to deal with. It is not the 2GR FE. That is a decent amount more powerful, and I do like that engine a little bit more. But again, this is the 2004, so this has the 3.3. All right, so in terms of space, we have a child that's under a year old, and we have a car seat in here, and we can fit another adult back here pretty comfortably. And then we have basically this, which is it's pretty much a mess right now, but it's fine. We keep things real around here. Able to fit the car seat back there, the toddler seat, an extra bag, and then we've taken it on trips where we fit like a medium-ish suitcase, and then like a smaller one as well. So you can pack this thing pretty tight. We haven't had to do that, but you absolutely can. Like I said, with the medium-ish suitcase and then a smaller one as well. It didn't block the vision, so it didn't bother me too much, but it does have some decent space. So there's not really too much that I dislike about the RX330. This car is great. It gets you where you want to go. It has a decent amount of power. It's super comfortable. It's just the taillights. It is the engine, which I'm not a big fan of, and then probably the fuel economy. the fuel economy isn't great, but again, it's just one of those things that is expected. You can't go into purchasing a 20-year-old, V6 SUV and expect to get good gas mileage. I maybe get, during the summer, maybe 20 or so on the highway. Winter, maybe like 18 or so on the highway. So mixed driving, you're looking at what, 16 to 18 miles per gallon in the summer. So I didn't buy it with the expectation of getting amazing fuel economy, and that's fine. But we have the car, it's paid off, and that's probably one of the biggest things for us. So I do love this car. If you're considering purchasing one, I would highly recommend just making sure that you go through it, or you take a mechanic with you, or take it to get a pre-purchase inspection. I would recommend you doing your research on the vehicle. I would recommend you considering your needs exactly and what are the reasons you are wanting to purchase a vehicle. Lexus is, especially this era of Lexus, they did amazing with their vehicles. They put a lot of thought and consideration into their builds, and it really shows. Like, this is a 20-year-old vehicle, and sometimes we have to remind ourselves of that. There are some features that this car has, like the auto leveling headlights, or the memory seats, that other vehicles just don't have, that are 10, 12 years newer. So overall, a great vehicle, highly recommend it. Again, this is a 2004 RX330. If you guys have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.